think it's hurt smaller cities like?
I think it's made smaller cities bigger.
It does
It's
make
benefiting
some,
smaller cities.
yeah, it can benefit some, but then it can hurt some. Because if everybody thinks, oh, well, New York City or Los Angeles or like Atlanta, Georgia is a better place, they're gonna go to that better place and it could harm that littler city, meaning they're not gonna stay there. Or it could benefit them, helping them rise up to a more industrialized or urbanized city.
I think that the small, big cities do, help out the smaller cities, because if the smaller cities are kind of like inside the big city, there's probably more job opportunities in the big cities that can like bring in people into the small cities. Like they need a place to live, or there's more housing places in the small city, and they work in the big city.
Yeah,
It helps out with the small city.
putting people more, like they want to be close to the big city, so they'll move around into the small cities around that, and they'll be there, but not automatically like you're on the street. And they'll have like opportunity to drive, but that's cool.
Yeah, like when you think about smaller cities being more urbanized, like Columbia, by us building Battle, it was more urbanized because the school is bigger and it's using more technology. And then by that, it was bringing in more jobs. Like more teachers were coming in to replace the teachers that had moved to Battle. And by doing that, it's causing a bigger population.
Building Battle also expands our city because, like, how they did it with Hickman, it was kind of like how Battle is in the middle of nowhere right now. Everything's going to start building around it.
Yeah.
So do you think urbanization has helped Columbia?
It's helped Columbia greatly. Columbia is going to be much bigger when we're gone and graduated, having children. It's going to be really big, and I feel like it's going to end up being on the map, like with St. Louis and Kansas City.
Yeah, like Columbia has, yeah, we just covered that. Yeah, when Justin, he was from
Okay, well, I would like to say that it has helped Columbia with people getting more jobs, and then the more technology in the schools, the more schools. But it does hurt us because the crime rates have gone up. Like, if you think about it, the neighborhood I live in, I have friends that can't come over because my neighborhood is so bad because the crime rate is so high. And then they're like, well, I'm not gonna send my family over to that part of the town because that's a bad neighborhood, they're gonna get shot. There it hurts us because you can have more enemies because you're closer together, you can agitate people more easily, referencing to the last conversation. And with like farms, there can still be crime, but there's less crime because you're so far away. What's gonna hurt you with them? How are they gonna irritate you? But it still does happen because you fight over land, you can fight over like crops, animals. It just is a higher crime rate in a city or urbanized city.
Wait, so I wanted to expand on the whole crime rate thing. Like, urbanization hasn't just affected that. Like, it's also affected like the social issues going on in our country. Like, things such as bullying, have gotten worse. Just like, like we've improved building and stuff, but like there are a lot more people, and there is a lot more diversity, but that doesn't mean that there's like less bullying and stuff. And also with improvements in technology and everything, people don't just have to be with someone to be bullying them. Like, they can be bullying them from like states away.
But I feel like bullying and crime and killing and all that, it's gonna happen. Like, you building a new building is not gonna benefit or hurt it. Like, it's just gonna happen either way. So people are gonna have opinions, and people are gonna say what they're gonna say, and then something's gonna happen. It doesn't matter what like neighborhood you're in. A person could die there, and it's just gonna happen. You can't prevent that from being around.
Like, what we're talking about isn't overall crime, it's per capita. Like, if we have a farm community and there's 100 people and 50 things are stolen, then that's like half a thing per person. But if you have a city of 1 million people and only 500 people steal something, that's lower than the farm town. I mean,
Yeah.
The reason that there's more crime in cities is because, just basically because of the density of the population. And the book kind of referred to how to lower crime rates. They did like a study where they had giant neighborhoods and they had like, they gated them off and they made each neighborhood, or they separated it up so it was like each individual communities.
So is crime intrinsically linked with urbanization?
What is intrinsic?
Like, are they always connected? Urbanization goes up, crime goes up. Will that always happen?
If population is included with urbanization, then yes.
So far, we discussed like crime in cities. Do you guys want to go on another topic?
Yeah.
Well, I thought of something like, about like job opportunities. I know we have already talked about that, but like if you go in a big city, like I go to Chicago almost every year, and there like houses, you have like some of the houses there are really cheap, and you have more job opportunities there because there's way more places there that, so Chicago is one of the mega cities of the world and stuff. So if the reference to the song is like, even though the property value might go up or go down, that if the property level go down, that means that you might have more people moving to that neighborhood, and the neighborhood might have job opportunities for those people, which may bring up the cities.
But then, sometimes it goes too far, like at some point, urbanization needs to stop. Like, Chicago may be a good place because there's the low-priced houses and there's more jobs. But then you go somewhere like New York, and you have to travel all the way into town because there's not that many places to stay, they're not cheap. Plus, some people don't want to stay in the polluted areas, so they travel into town, which is harder transportation.
New York and Chicago, even though they're both mega cities, they're different because New York is more of a corporation place where you have all these big old corporations and stuff like that like where we get like our technology and stuff from. Chicago, that's more of an urban city, like a different urban city. Like they're two different cities. It just depends. They're two different cities.
And what I was saying is there is a breaking point, but there's also suburbanization where we do need to stop it at some point.
So Adriana, you're talking about like, are you talking just straight population? Because New Delhi and Tokyo have similar populations, but on one hand, you've got New Delhi where there's trash on the ground and it's a lot more disorganized, and then you've got Tokyo where people have less space, but the crime is really low and everyone's kind of established where they are.
Well, it wasn't just population, but population does go into it. Like, it depends on, like, you have to be in like Tokyo and I don't remember, somewhere in China. It was talking about how people are, I don't know, but nicer, and they're more communicating to each other. They talk more, but here in Colombia, like they were saying in the last conversation, they don't really talk to each other. They don't get along. So it just depends on time and location and how relatively they are connected to each other.
What I've noticed we've been talking about a lot is how crime gets really bad in cities and job loss gets really bad in cities when you've got a large separation between the rich and poor. Like if you have socioeconomic disparity, then everything is ruined. And so how can we avoid that, Emily?
Time.